Welcome to the Draft Board Hockey Show. I'm Mark, my co-host Linc from New Wave Hockey, and look at who we got on board today, the Puck Bunker boys, Rocco and Darren. Welcome to the show, boys.
How we doing?
Happy to be here.
Hey, look at Rocco's in the Muskokas, just living the life up there outside. Must be nice.
Hey, you know what? This is not my jail outfit. This is just my bug protection. I think I'm going to get about 3,000 bug bites here over the course of this episode, but that's okay.
You're a brave soul for being outside in May in Northern Ontario. That's just not
only place I get any reception right now. I have no choice. I try to do it inside. I go scrambly, not good.
Darren, new father, congrats.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
He told us before the recording started, no sleep for poor Darren. I said, yeah, welcome to the club.
You should ask Rocco what I was doing while we were having the kid.
Oh yeah, I told this story on an episode we're about to post with the Don, but boy sends me a photo from the delivery room. His wife's in the in the background. You see the stirrups are up, the wires are everywhere, the machines are beeping, and Taryn Boyce has Cullen Potter U18 game highlights on his laptop with his feet up. I'm surprised he didn't ask the nurse for another Mai Tai, but geez, he was multitasking for sure.
By the way, I love my wife. Thank you, Nicole.
Oh my god, insane!
There's a meme where there's a guy who's ordering a pizza and the wife in the background's having a baby, and so yeah, Darren probably had
That was pretty much it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh man. That's
see the things you have to look forward to, Linc.
Looking forward to. God. We'll figure it out. Right now, I'm looking forward to this episode. But
this episode
awesome.
we're gonna do a little before we're gonna talk about we're doing Carter Bear versus Lynden Lakovic, two dub players, both 2006s too, guys. So we're gonna talk about that. But first, let's talk about the Mem Cup and. Actually, you know what? I want to, the one thing that a lot of people are talking about, Caleb Desnoyers and his, lack of production, a lot of speculation about what's going on with Mr. Desnoyers. What's your thoughts, boys?
I think he's hurt.
He's hurt.
He's definitely injured.
Yeah, he's hurt. Sure. I think he's been hurt since the final series against Rimouski, game 2 or 3.
That's what people are saying. Yeah, middle of that series.
I don't know what exactly it is. Might be arm or something related to that, but he doesn't look right. And I
think he's got a wrist.
Yeah, he's not even taking face-offs or anything anymore. Mind you,
he
didn't
he took 3 and he won all 3 in the last game versus Rimouski. Look, people were talking online. People have been talking all since the last episode about Caleb Desnoyers and how he's just I don't know how seaworthy of a prospect he is. He didn't win 2. He's not doing great in these 2 games. I need people to understand that it's not a Q thing. It's not a Caleb Desnoyers thing. I want you to actually look at this London team, which was one of the last 2 years has been one of the most dominant squads ever fielded on an ice rink. And then this Medicine Hat team that's only lost about 4 games since 2025 started.
So I'm going to say a couple things here. If you look at the final series that London played against Oshawa, Beckett Seneca was -8. Cal Ritchie's -6. They absolutely ran those guys off the ice. If you're really going to, again, I could scout a game where they play London and kind of gauge what the player is like, but if you're actually going to judge the guy's entire draft status from playing the London Knights, every player sucks. Gavin McKenna had 0 points the other night, even though Medicine Hat beat them. He had no points.
I will say,
Gavin McKenna's terrible. He's not the first.
Darren, you got trounced.
Yeah,
they ran you out of the building.
They didn't
Medicine Hat destroyed them, man. Oh my god!
The goalie's name was actually quite impressive this time with Tampa Bay. I really liked the way he played.
Harrison Mennigan.
He was really good.
Yeah, he was a draft pick by them. So.
Yeah, 6'4" goalie, and again, that's another guy later draft pick. You kind of get him in your system, develop him, and he's already gotten better. And he's already signed with them. So that's a decent pick from them. That they're going to play again. I think that's going to be again. Those are 2 pretty evenly matched teams. London missed a bunch of nets that game. They had a lot of chances to score.
I don't know. Maybe Marcus Vidicek has a insane legacy game.
They can.
I think London looks kind of soft versus Medicine Hat. I think Medicine Hat's going to win the whole thing. Doesn't matter what's going on. So we'll see. I think the Dub is going to get their first winner since 2014.
Yeah, they haven't won in a while.
Yeah.
I'll say this. Medicine Hat has better top line talent than London has. I think their high end guys are better. But as Mark knows, the thing with London, the reason that they are so good is that they have 12, 13 draft picks on that team that play. So it's the second and third lines that really, that's where they end up winning games.
Their defensive depth is excellent too.
Yeah, it is.
Which Medicine Hat doesn't quite have on the back end. I think London's got an advantage on the defensive side of the puck and probably on their third and fourth line. So like if London's gonna beat them, they need to shut down those top two lines for Medicine Hat because they're friggin' dangerous, as we know. But if London can do that, if they can come out 50-50 against those top two lines, they probably win the game.
Yeah, they need to take advantage of their chances too. I mean, they had chances to score, and like you have to take your chances against a team like that.
Well, they need to get through Moncton first.
I was going to say they had a hard time against Moncton the first time.
They
around.
did. They went to overtime.
It was a hard time. That was a classic London Knights game. Just get up a goal or two and just run out the clock. That's all.
Rope a dope.
Yeah.
Stop pumping Dale Hunter's tires, man. He's not gonna call you back. Now, one more thing I'll say about the Mem Cup with this Medicine Hat team. Very, very exciting. I think people don't realize a lot of like the younger their depth is a lot of younger players who are going to be exceptional talents, or not exceptional talents. Obviously, that's no one's Gavin McKenna, but they're going to be really solid talents that'll come up for the next few years. I want to highlight the Ruck brothers. They're really solid boys. They get into the boards. They know how to fight, and they're young, and they're not even going to be draft eligible till next year. They're going to be in the same draft class as Gavin McKenna. And another player I would like to highlight, Schaefer Gordon Carroll. He's like their fourth or third line center. Dude's an absolute monster. Wait till this guy gets on the top line. He's a really smart player. I really like him. But yeah, London got exposed. They might lose to Moncton. Medicine Hat. I'm crowning Med Hat. They're gonna win.
I will put money down they don't lose to Moncton.
I'll take that. Bet.
There's a bet right there. There it is. What's the money line? Let's go, boys.
How many euros is that?
I want to side with Linc here, but then I remember that's the same guy that put Carter Amico in the top 25 of a mock draft. So
I will say this: like Moncton plays responsibly enough that they can beat them, and usually it's when London beats themselves, so they'll take a bunch of penalties. That has always been an Achilles heel that they've had. They did that last year in the Memorial Cup final. They took a boatload of penalties and lost. Even when they outshoot the other team and maybe outpossess the other team, that's when they lose. That's what happens. That's literally what happens. So we'll see. But I mean, they're a really hard team to play. They play a professional game. That's what I said the other day. I was a professional game. And in terms of the Medicine Hat team, it is kind of funny that they wanted to host the Memorial Cup next year. Basically, the league just said, "Screw you." And then they just loaded up their team instead to win this year.
And Med Hat's a lovely place. I don't know why they would want to do that. So,
well, they got McKenna. They did him enough favors.
No, but I found that it's kind of funny that that's what happened.
I love it. So, what's the predictions, boys? Is Med Hat's taking it all?
No.
Okay, wait. Who's London Moncton? Who's winning that game?
London. 4-1.
It's a knee slapper.
I'll take. I don't care. I was born in New Brunswick. I'm not betting against Moncton. I'll take the Wildcats.
I'll take Moncton.
I don't care.
I'll go London. So me and Boise, London, Linc and Rocco for Moncton. See how it goes.
Yeah, because now I can't look like an idiot because London should win, and if Moncton wins, now I pick them.
So win-win for you then, eh, Rocco?
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right, boys, let's get to the task at hand. We got some hockey to watch tonight, a little oil action coming up in half an hour. So right now, Carter Bear versus Lynden Lakovic. Let me get the stats up. So Carter Bear first, 82 points in 56 games. Wowza, 40 goals, 40 assists, 42 assists. Not bad. Lakovic, 58 and 47, but he's 6'4". So boys, let's hear what you're. Let's give the floor to the bunker boys because I know that they got got a little bit of contention, I think, for Lynden Lakovic, right?
Do you want me to
You know
go
what?
first?
Well, no, because you might not stop once you go. So I'm gonna say this about Lynden Lakovic. Earlier in the year, he immediately stood out as one of the most supremely talented players in this draft. And if you got a chance to look at every player once, you probably have him in your top 10, 12 at the worst. And based on talent alone and upside alone, that's probably where he belongs. Now, a lot of inconsistencies throughout the year. He was a big guy who didn't really play very big, not much physical game to speak of. That said, I think he is someone who is maybe aware of the criticisms or aware of the things that he needed to improve, because the last handful of games throughout the year, you notice it a little more compete, a little more jam, little more willingness to go into a corner. The last game of the year, he scored a great goal. One of his least highlight worthy goals of the year, but in my mind, it was a great goal because he drove the middle, crashed the crease, and battled two guys and jammed the puck home. I'm like, okay, well, that's the kind of stuff that at 6'4" with your hands and your puck skill, that could make you a real dangerous player. Now, I got notes, guys. Brought notes.
Love it.
He actually, since his WHL draft, he's growing 4 to 5 inches.
Yeah.
He's new to being big. So yeah, he didn't play very big a lot of the year, and he had some competitiveness issues. But last year, when they were on a bit deeper team late in the playoffs, didn't really competed just fine. Creativity improved throughout the year. Puck protection, he's getting really good at that as a bigger guy. Protects the puck very, very well. Skating is great for a big guy. On paper, he's got all the tools that you would want in a first line winger. And because of the size, makes him kind of versatile, can go up and down the lineup. I've got it on pretty good authority here that he's a big hockey nerd and very hungry to learn, and is always looking for feedback and always looking for things that he can do better, right? So that's a great sign that you want to see as well, that he's very aware and wants to work on things. Add that to the fact that he's an excellent entry player with the puck, great puck handler, can distribute, can shoot. Sometimes you watch kids too much and you're too hard on things that can be fixed. You can't teach that body. You can't teach that puck skill. You can't teach that natural ability that he has. It's tough not to want to work with a guy on littler details when you have all that. And so you got to look at the raw tools, right? Sometimes these are teenage kids they're teenagers. Like I don't even want to describe how much of a different person I am now than I was at 18, right? So things can change, and guys learn to be pros, and it looks like something that clicked towards the end of the year, and he's a lot more higher up my list than he was probably a month and a half ago.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo that. I liked what I saw at the end of the year from him. I mean, there was a lot more effort to be physical within the game, and that includes, trying to get to net, but along the boards. That's what I wanted to see. Your big body like that, engage in the fight, engage in it. Like, that's what I want to see. Now at 2, we did learn that, he had grown a lot as well very recently. That's a big deal. That means, to me, that means there's a lot of growth potential here with the player. Like, he hasn't really totally adapted with his body. So I'm again, everything else that Rocco said, I kind of echo. I mean, I agree with him. Start of the year, I really liked him. I think I had him in the top 10. Saw some things in the middle of the year. I just absolutely drove me crazy. If people don't know, my bias is when big guys don't put in any physical effort, it annoys me to no end. I don't know how you play that way when you're that big. I have to, again, that's just me. I've always had trouble with guys that do that. But it looks like he's attempting to do that now. And he's improving at other aspects of the game. And again, big guys do take a while, especially ones growing into their body. I like the prospect. He's moved back into my top 15 here. My rankings, I think this is a solid prospect to take. You need to work with them. I mean, I don't think he's going to make your team right away. But just the fact that you have the skating and the size package to start with, even if he doesn't hit as a first liner, you should be able to coach him up to be playing on, he should be able to be coached up to play at least on like a middle six line somewhere. So, I mean, I don't even necessarily think the pick is, risky. It's just, whether you think that he can ultimately get to that first line potential. It's there. I mean, the skating size ability is really, you can't match that in this draft. And again, we've Roger McQueen, another big guy who's, going higher in this draft or higher in this. I'd be probably at this point rather take Lakovic over him just from the injury standpoint. Like that, I would. Rocco, he has a back injury. Like
I don't disagree, but Linc is about to jump out of his chair.
He has a back injury, Rocco. Like those don't go away. Like it just, and we haven't seen him all year. And like, I find that Lakovic's, at least his skill set, is more diverse than McQueen's is. Like there's more there than, again, McQueen has the handling ability and the ability to score in close. Other than that, I think Lakovic kind of has everything else there. Other than McQueen can play center. But again, that's, that might be the ultimate trump card or whatever, if we want to draft him higher. But I mean, it's concerning to me, McQueen's injury, and I would have him higher.
I'll jump on this real quick. I think we're having a great discussion about Lakovic. Obviously, there's a lot of things that you guys both touched on that are absolutely true. I look at his off puck game, and it's been horrible. Needless to say, it's not been a great when he doesn't have the puck. He's an excellent skater, excellent transition player with the puck. He's pretty good at zone entries, but without the puck, he's been a little bit lost, and that's going to be something that he needs to remedy. I want to say that it takes his IQ takes a hit from that point, but he's a very smart player in special teams. He's just he needs to kind of just get another year under him, because I really feel like there was a lot of missed opportunities this year, because Moose Jaw was a very solid team last year, as we all know. I want to give him a little mulligan. I would love to see him in the NCAA. I don't think he's going to go. But he's definitely somebody who is absolutely, this is someone you would take a swing on. This is someone that I'm looking at, and if there's a chance you can get him like mid to late teens, that's somebody that you can absolutely pounce on. 6'4", with the skating that he has with the puck, the just kind of jaw dropping, being able to take over a game type ability. You can't really buy that. Now I'm a little bit worried that you put Roger McQueen into this discussion. I could talk all day about that. But sticking with Lakovic, I think there's absolutely just a lot there. Looking at how he finished the year, it was fantastic. So we'll target this more towards who we're supposed to target this towards. But we'll have Mark end with his thoughts on Lakovic, but I do like him a lot.
Yeah, you know what? I think you guys covered it all, and you can tell that he's growing into his body. He still seems a little uncertain on his skating, and you know what? The one thing that I was watching is that he falls a lot during the game. That means that he's not used to his feet yet, I guess you could say. But this is a big kid, and the NHL, they love big players, and so like you said, there's this is a kid that you're going to have to develop. His off puck play is a little sketchy at times, but the handling skills, the skating, the shot, all that fun stuff that you look at in a prospect is there. So yeah, you know what? I think safely teens is the spot for him. I think it all depends on what a team's looking for, obviously, but so now you go to the other player that we have to discuss today, and that's Carter Bear. So a little bit of difference in the games, in the type of style of game that they play. Now, the other thing is that physicality. Like you said, he's gotten better at knowing how to use his body, but he still is kind of standoffish sometimes when he's pressing for a puck, and I just wish he would just take that extra step in. You know what I mean? Like you're a big kid, you got to learn how to, like Darren says, use that body, man. Come on, and you know what? The thing is that he'll protect the puck, he'll shield the puck pretty good too if there's an opposing player on his back. But yeah, sometimes those board battles, I'm like, oh man, come on, push it a little bit,
Well, yeah, leave some to be desired there for sure still. But no prospect here is without flaws. And I mean, unfortunately, like, you don't love to see one that you feel is very much easy to control, because it's a willingness type of thing. But I think it's gotten a little bit better. So if you can get it to a point where you're okay with it, then I think the rest of it makes up for that probably.
He's also, again, we just said he's grown into his body. He's not used to playing a physical game that way. So
Never been the biggest kid.
Exactly. He has to learn how to be the biggest guy in the ice and play that way. Again, it'll still annoy me to no end, but he's not. But I mean, that's again, he might not fully grow into that, but the more he gets hit, he should get used to doing that and see, oh, like these guys are trying to hit me and like nothing's happening. Like, maybe I should start hitting these guys. Maybe I should lean on these guys more. Oh, look, I got better position now. And like, it kind of just comes that way. Right. And then he starts leveraging his, it's not even hitting guys. It's just leveraging his style.
Leveraging. I like that. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Well, here's the thing, Darren. One thing I will say, and then we'll move on to your guys' thoughts on Carter Bear. Name me a big guy in this draft who's probably going to go in the first round who is known for his hitting. Probably Shane Van Saggy. That's it. But like Porter Martone, he's been kind of soft for some of the year. We want everyone kind of wants more out of him. People have wanted more out of Malcolm Spence. People have wanted more out of McQueen.
Bill,
look, the
Wild Bill.
The Wild Bill. I will say the smaller guys have been hitting, and in nowhere else has that been more true than with our prospect. I kind of want to hear how you guys talk about him first, and then I'll jump in because I think I'm a little bit away from the crowd when I talk about McQueen. Okay. Or not McQueen, Bear.
I'm gonna go first here, Rocco, because
please do.
First of all, as both of us as being the resident Sens fans here, I think we would be both actually quite happy if he fell to 21 to them. I'm not sure he will, but I think we would. This is the type of player we would be happy they got. Now, with Bear, you're not getting the upside play of Lakovic. Like, that's not what you're getting here. Like, Lakovic could be first line winger on like a good hockey team. I think with Bear, you're getting. Yeah, I think he's a winger. I think he's going to be, he's going to be a grinder type guy in your third line, and I keep comparing him to Brendan Gallagher. Like, that's who I think he is. So, I mean, that is a very effective player. It's going to play in all situations and, have a high work rate and do a lot of good things for your team. Now, I am going to say again, going back to the injury portion of this, I am concerned about his injury, and it's the only reason why I think he could fall to 21. I think he should be ranked higher than that if you don't take his injury into account. But I am. So I'm Rocco and I have seen what an Achilles injury can do to a player before. I mean, we were in Ottawa. Erik Karlsson got stepped on. Yes, he came back, and yes, he won a Norris Trophy after that. He wasn't quite, he lost a step. Like, he wasn't the same. Now, I don't think he severed his Achilles as badly as Karlsson did. I think Karlsson was around like 70% of his Achilles was sliced or something, which is awful to think about. I don't think Bears was as bad, and apparently he's skating, and it's happened to him while he's younger, so that should be okay. But again, skating, like we talked about this before, his skating isn't really his strong suit to begin with.
I would describe it as undular, as like that.
And so now he's going to have, like, it is plausible that it's going to take him a year or two to even try and gain that step back. That he's again, he's going to be like, he can get back to it. It's a longer process now, I think, in my opinion, anyway. That there is data that says hockey players that do have Achilles injuries like this can recover, and their point totals do remain relatively the same. But I mean, it doesn't take into account the other portions of the game. So I'm a little concerned with that. But in terms of the player, I love what he does. I think he can contribute in the NHL pretty easily. He's not that small. I mean, he's like 6 feet tall. He's not Colin Potter, who I do like, by the way. But I mean, he's not tiny. So like, he can play. He'll play effectively, and it'll be really hard to play against. So are you getting the upside first line play? Probably not. But are you getting an effective NHL with this pick? Yes, I do think you are.
Yeah. I mean, look, I love Carter Bear. Yeah, it's hard not to love the way he plays. You wish you could put his heart and soul and his drive and his competitiveness into every player on the ice. I think he wants it, and you have to want it if you're going to succeed in the NHL. And I think this is a player that does. I think he has a very natural desire to want to go out there and compete. And I think that's a trait that's not as prevalent as it used to be in young athletes. So that's the kind of guy that I want to inject into my locker room. I'm in the similar camp where I don't necessarily see a first line player here, whereas Lakovic, that is pretty blatantly obvious that he has that kind of offensive upside. I think Bear's going to work and grind his way to success. But he's the kind of guy that you'd want on your team when the chips are down. Now, where does he fit in? I think he probably settles into a middle six role on the wing, is where ideally you slot that in. But he does all of the things that breed winning hockey. I think all of the complaints that we have about Lakovic are all the areas where Carter Bear excels. And you hate to see that. You hate to see anyone get hurt, but you hate to see a kid get hurt who's so easy to cheer for. Because I don't know if you'd find a true hockey fan that would watch Carter Bear play and not like what they see, regardless of what you think of his upside. So, all that to say, where do I have them ranked at this point? Probably for the first time in 4 months, I guess, I have Lakovic higher than Carter Bear. And part of that is the unteachables that Lakovic has. I'll never be able to make Bear 6'4". And I don't know that I'd be able to make him quite as skilled at the game as Lakovic is, and as dangerous offensively. And the thing with Lakovic's size is that because he is 6'4", like that advantage will translate, and that will make it easier for him to continue to develop the power forward aspects of the game. Mark, you said he was great at shielding the puck, right? That's only going to get better as he gets bigger and stronger. So the things that he's good at are very, very translatable tools. What it came down to for me was the injury ultimately. And unfortunately, whether it's fair or not, because it's not fair to the kid, injuries are a part of the game, and injuries matter. And if I'm risking a first round pick, if I'm using a first round pick on a guy, I have to be sure. And I know I'm always with the Sens example, but Tyler Boucher, 10th, 11th overall pick, whatever he was for Ottawa, right? Young guy, played with a lot of jam, really competitive, played winning hockey, could shoot the puck, all these kind of things, was willing to fight and muck it up. And I'm like, okay, cool, this is going to be a player. Well, guess what? He hasn't played 100 games total since then in any league combined. So, or probably definitely way less than 100, probably. So, geez, and that was supposed to be an exaggeration, and it was actually true. So, and that's through no fault of his own, other than he keeps getting hurt. So that's now a wasted pick because the guy is never going to play because he can't stay healthy. So do I want to risk that? Well, unfortunately, I don't know that I can, at least not above a guy who has probably more upside anyways. So where does Carter Bear fall for me? He's probably going to be, that group of players, Lakovic, Carbonneau, Bear, Reshny, and around there, like those kind of guys that are solid first round picks, pretty much guaranteed to be first round picks, but not top 10 picks. Bear's going to probably fall lower on that list than he deserves to, for me, just because of that. And it sucks because he's a hell of a player, but slices Achilles, man, that's a tough one.
With my thing, I'll go quick. I'll just tell a brief story. The beginning of the year, I'm kind of just canvassing the entire class in about August. And I'm looking at this guy, Carter Bear from Everett. And we just found out about Landon DuPont. And I'm like all about the Everett Silvertips. By the way, best jerseys in the WHL. Can I say that?
Pretty good.
They're pretty good. And I see this kid, and like I look at this, just the first thing you always notice is the hard work. And I think going back to Darren's point, if you could watch a kid once and see, and kind of just like gauge where he would be, he's easily someone who's in my top 14, top 12. However, as the year kind of progressed and more people noticed him, more and more people were kind of looking over things that I really, really was bothered by. And I'm sorry to a bunch of Montreal Canadiens fans and Twitter gremlins that I'm about to upset with this take, but I'm not the biggest fan of Carter Bear after watching his entire game. I still love the kid. Obviously, you can't teach heart like that. And him and Victor Eklund are players that I'm rooting for day one. And I can't wait to see them over in the NHL. I'm a little bit less on the offensive upside than a lot of other people. People say Brendan Gallagher. I think that's a fantastic comparison. You want to look at what he can possibly become, but I have worries that he's going to reach that. A lot of his goals are right in front of the net. He has to rely on a teammate to kind of be there and feed him. He'll fight for it, but at some point you can't really overcome 6 foot. He's got some decent hands. He's got a pretty okay shot. There's some times where the release is not ideal. There's sometimes the release is as quick as ever, so it's hard to gauge with him. Especially we're talking about the Achilles injury. I think combined with the skating, combined with the offensive, like the worries about translating offensively, I think it's too much of a risk to take a swing on and say this is a surefire guy who's in your middle 6. I'm gonna take Lynden Lakovic over Carter Bear every time. Just kind of not only because I want to take a swing on a guy like Lynden Lakovic, but I also think he can settle into a middle 6 role a little bit better than Carter Bear. It's a shame. I hate that I feel this way. I hate that I've been kind of been so down and out on Carter Bear. But with every viewing, it's just kind of been a thing where I'm just I really can't get into it. So I've unfortunately, he's kind of suffered on my list. And he's one of the prospects where I really feel the worst about, because he's someone that I really want to love as much as I love a guy like Victor Eklund, but it's just really I've never seen it with him. So
yeah. So, the thing with Carter Bear is that his pace is so good that I think it overcomes what he lacks in skating, is that he's moving all the time. You know what I mean? He's not standing still. Now, the other thing is that no, he doesn't have the upside of Lakovic, but Carter Bear can play middle 6 or bottom 6. You can slot him in anywhere. Can Lakovic be a bottom line guy? That's the question, because he's kind of a little too soft in my opinion for that. So Carter Bear has that potential. He's probably has a higher floor than Lynden Lakovic in my opinion, but Lakovic has that higher ceiling, way higher ceiling, right? So yeah, I mean, you know what? I think it depends on a team. I mean, and now with the Achilles, they can use that as an excuse. We don't know, we don't know how deep the laceration is. So there's all these variables that come into play. Obviously,
it's going to affect the skating one way or another. It's going to make the road to improving that skating a little bit longer. So again, it's not nothing. It's something that you have to kind of take into account. Whether it's going to add 3 months of development or a year, no one knows, because he's already skating right now. So he's on his way to get back. He's one of the guys out of the CHL that if he goes to the NCAA, that's something I would love to see. Because again, everyone's talking about the NCAA and where people are going, stuff like that.
They should all go.
They should all go. Yeah. But no, he's someone that I would love to see in the NCAA, specifically the NCHC, because I think it's a faster conference. I think it'll show a lot, and it'll kind of they'll really emphasize skating with him. So that's one of the things that I really think. He's somebody that is going to be a project. These guys are both projects. That's the thing with these guys. There are multiple years of development here for both Lakovic and Bear. So you kind of have to be very careful with who you're taking. But at this point, with the offensive upside, I think I'm going to agree with Rocco.
I think this draft class in general is a lot of projects.
This a lot of flaws. A lot of flaws.
A lot of flaws in this draft class as a whole. You know what I mean? So, so I guess everyone's picking Lakovic over Bear.
The other thing I want to say too, there's not a lot of offensive depth in this draft. There's a lot more D depth than there is offensive depth. So, for instance, if I'm a team, I can get a decent defenseman in the second round, perhaps, or at least by my rankings, I can get a decent defenseman in the 30s or the 40s versus I'm not going to find a decent forward there. So that would be the thought process and it's going there. Because again, there's not a lot of guys that could potentially score 30 goals on your first line that, in this draft. So that would be my idea with that. Yeah.
Forwards, okay, higher end forwards will typically go ahead of the defenseman. They're easier to project, B, they're easier to identify, so they tend to actually go higher, where you can actually find defensemen later. To Boyce's point, but yeah, typically you'll see it within a tier. I mean, you'll see the centerman go, and then the high end forwards go, and then the defenseman. All things being equal, but Kayshawn Agent, he's on Boyce's. He's replaced Lynden Lakovic on Boyce's shit list lately.
Oh boy.
Didn't like what I saw versus Oshawa. I'll say that.
So to conclude, I guess we're all in agreement where we all have Lakovic ahead of Bear, correct?
We
Yeah,
do it at
gotcha.
this point, yeah.
All right. Well, I guess look,
That's uneventful.
That's pretty uneventful. I
know.
actually
Well,
thought one
you
of
know
you
what?
would be
We did have
little
disagreements
discourse.
in
Some
on
people
all that, so-
some people are lower on Bear than others. Some people being me. But yeah, no, I think there's a lot of merit to both prospects. Obviously, these are both first round guys. At the end of the day, these are, I think, Lack is a player that's like kind of looking realistically at the draft. Lack is a guy who's going to go a bit higher. So love to see it. Can't wait to see what actually happens.
Yes. All right, boys. We gotta go catch some hockey here, man. Come on.
do.
We got the Oils gotta make it to the next to the finals here. We need a rematch. It's gonna be a good rematch, I think. Bunker Boys, check out their stuff. Everyone, go and subscribe. Hit New Wave Hockey. You gotta subscribe to him too. Everyone, get these guys up there. Let's go. Let's get their numbers up. And boys, obviously, thanks for coming. Rocco, enjoy the bevies out on the lake there. It looks awesome out there, buddy.
Oh, you know what? You're lucky. I have so much respect for our industry that I only had a half of one. You know, so but there's 5.5 more waiting for me. So I'm excited.
Get tossed watching some Nuge. 3 Nuge assists tonight.
Nice.
Tune in the Memorial Cup too. Let's have a couple good games left there.
Yes.
Too.
Oh, you know what? You're right. Let's go.
Moncton, London
We
rematch is
got our
tomorrow.
bets. Moncton and London.
Go Knights,
We got our
go!
bets in, baby. All right, boys. That's it for tonight. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.